Yeah, obviously disappointed with our effort, but I also think that they're really, really good. From watching on tape to seeing them in person, but I think obviously within our league, for their ability to play small and shoot it the way they do from 4 spots and have Edwards in there, it's they're playing really well. And so we didn't have any answers today, and obviously they've done this to a lot of folks so far in our league, and thought we would fight a little harder. So a little disappointed there, but we've got to be able to flush it and get ready for our next one.
Questions, Gene?
Joe, you're not off to a good start early in the first quarter, and you started to come off a little bit in the second, but how much of it was just survival down the stretch and getting some fresh bodies in there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care if we were ill or not. We had guys out of practice for 2 days, and a lot of these kids have been, since the Xavier game, we've had 5-6 kids that have been out. We had guys who missed practice, but in reality, don't take that in any way of the reason of what just went on out there. I think they're just really good. And also we just, we weren't able to adjust at all. But in looking at what they can do offensively and the teams I've watched over the entire time in this league, obviously they've changed a little bit in some of the things that they do, but the way that they can shoot it right now and guard you and pressure you, I always marvel at that, and Gino's is the best at it that there is. So, like I said, I don't think we had much going on, even though it was survival mode. Certainly we want to keep our, we have very small room for slippage, and so we were trying to put fresh legs out, give those guys an opportunity to play a little bit, and make sure we kept our other guys that needed the rest to get it.
You had a string of some big wins coming into this game, especially as you entered Big East play. Obviously, still a tough conference. You got Seton Hall coming up in a little less than a week in terms of high net games, quad 2, quad 1. How do you try to come away from this kind of loss with positive momentum to continue
win the next one? You got to win the next one, right? The most important one is the next game we have. And like I said to them, this is not something that hasn't happened to other teams that they've played, right? So you've got to be able to get back to practice. Hopefully, have everybody there and be able to approach the game like we normally would. This one was different in a way. It felt like I was back in 2019 a little bit on Thursday and Friday, or 2020, whatever it was, probably both years. But at the same time, you got to be able to get the next one. That's the most important one, and you can't let it carry over. That's the most important thing.
This is the first time you've seen a healthy Paige in a couple years. Do you know the difference in how she's playing now versus how she played back in her freshman year?
Yeah, I'd rather not see her again, as far as I'm concerned. But no, look, it's good for the game. It's good for our league, and I think she's, as she has said, I think in things that I've seen, I think she really loves being out there and playing, and so as a competitor, you want her out there, and as someone who loves the game, you want her out there. So, but I think she's certainly, my view of her freshman year was like, wow. I'd never seen much like it. I've seen Taurasi and all those guys he's had over time. So that's how old I am now. With Sue and all those teams, back in the early 2000s. But she was something else. And so, you feel for those kids, you feel for Griffin, you feel for all these kids that are not able to play. But no, look, she's unbelievable. So I can appreciate great play.
Joe, is there anything that you see in person with them that maybe doesn't show up on tape, just how well they shoot the ball, how well they play defense?
Yeah, look, I didn't have any delusions of grandeur in knowing it was going to be a tall task to play against them, but watching them on film, they are, with Paige out there, but even the other guys, they're so improved. Nika's shooting it better. Edwards is playing. They've got experience now. They've got not only experience, but they got the young guys who have infused energy with Arnold and Shade. and they're doing it with 7. I mean, so there's no excuses. I mean, but on film, they looked very good. In person, extremely impressive. And I said to him after the game, I said, you guys are really good with maybe some things in between that, but you guys are really good. And they certainly have the capability for sure. But yeah, I mean, their ability to shoot it, I think, reigned true today. I mean, you would have thought this was their home court and how they shot the ball. And our defense was also not helping the cause.
Joe, you switched it up a little bit today. Bernaya comes off the bench. She and Jayla go for double figures. Do you see the game a little differently coming off the bench, and how much of a spark does it give you?
Honestly, Bernaya didn't practice for 2 days. I mean, she was in her bed curled up in a ball. So for her to even play is probably a testament to who she is. So that was the reason there, on it. And, so it ran through us, ran through managers, whatever it was. I mean, that was the reason we made the move. I mean, it was interesting to see that a little bit, but, and again, a lot of these guys, Tara, same thing. I mean, we were trying to limit it once it was, probably out of reach. But yeah, no, I think, Donald for us has to be, really good, and so does Sky. And Sky out of the gate, we need her to be better. Those 2 players, and Sky and Jayla, who were here, they didn't have a lot of minutes, but who were here, they've been a big part of why we've been better. And so is Phoenix and how we've played. So I'm not disappointed in the result. Yeah, we lost, and I'm upset about it. My disappointment is in the way that we fought toward the end, especially those guys that got an opportunity to get in the game.
Coach, can you talk about... Sorry, over here.
Gotcha.
Can you talk about what was so difficult to get through the UConn defense? Or what was, in fact, so difficult about their defense, really?
That's just how they play, and now they're playing smaller, so they're able to really, I thought Nika did a great job on Unique and trying to keep her from getting to the ball, but they were more connected. It's the bottom line. You watch how they pressure. They've got holes where they're trying to fill those holes by putting pressure on you on the outside, and we fell right into it, and weren't able to counteract it. And so sometimes you've got to fight, that type of pressure with an attack, and we didn't do it enough. And I thought our quickness would be a little better for us today, and it just wasn't. Our spacing wasn't great. We didn't play the way we needed to. But no, they force you into looking that way. They always have. I mean, honestly, they've done that for the time that I've even been here. More recently now, I think he's been more into that, but they play that way, and that's how Nika kind of is the head of the dragon, in many cases.
Marvin, and last one.
Coach, even though it's a loss, your kids still play at the end, So going forward, what can you say about your team going forward to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said, I think when you combine the second and third quarters, it just became too much to overcome. So no, we played, but I do think that there's there's a lot of room for growth, especially for our young guys who need to understand what it means to be able to have the opportunity to be out there, whether it be today or practice, and being able to compete. So, Jill wants to get back in the game, and Drake wants to get back in the game, but at that point, is it really the time for that? And so we gave those guys an opportunity that hadn't been in much, and I was glad that Jada was aggressive. I think she was a little over aggressive at times, but she has the ability to score it the way she can, and the other ones, our other young guys have to be ready at the call. And so not that it's easy when you have to go out against UConn and do that, right? So we all understand that, but we just got to get ready for the next game. That's the bottom line. The league is unforgiving. It's always been that way from the day that I started here in 2002 to today. It's not a forgiving league, and no one feels sorry for you, and nor do we.